Good morning, folks. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the readings on Sunday, and I usually do not necessarily talk about the first reading, but I'm going to do that today from the prophet Nehemiah. But before I do that, I would like to sort of put it in a context, and it goes like this. It's Psalm 137, which says, "By the streams of Babylon we sat and wept when we remembered Zion. On the aspens of that land we hung up our harps. Though our captors asked of us the lyrics of our songs, and our despoilers urged us to be joyous, sing for us the songs of Zion. How could we sing a song of the Lord in a foreign land? If I forget you, Jerusalem, may my right hand be forgotten. May my tongue may my tongue cleave to my palate, if I remember you not, if I place not Jerusalem ahead of my joys." And it goes on like that. It's Psalm 137, and it's really a plaintive cry, if you will, from a people who are in exile. And in this instance, of course, the exiled people are the people of Judea, people of Jerusalem, who were carried off into exile in the year 587 by Nebuchadnezzar to Babylon, whole families, and they were there until 538. So they were sort of languishing, if you will, in a foreign land, remembering their home and hoping and praying to get back there. And in the year 538 BC, we find that Babylon was taken over by Persia, and Cyrus, who was the king of Persia, uttered a decree allowing the Jewish people to go home. So here they have the opportunity of returning to their homeland, very excited about going home, but having gone home like 30, 50, 60 years after they left, they find that the temple has been destroyed, Jerusalem is in ruins, and the whole countryside is basically in ruins also. So the Gabaitians are very, very dispirited people, and everything sort of has, in a sense, in their absence, everything has fallen asunder. And so what you find over a period of a couple of hundred years, we call it the period of restoration, where the Jewish people tried to rebuild. And two famous people involved in that restoration. One was Nehemiah. He's the prophet of the reading today, and the other one is an individual called Ezra. And besides just sort of allowing them to get back into their lands and stuff, they also, of course, had sort of lost out on their faith, and so trying to get them again to remind themselves, remember that they were people of the covenant, and that they'd sort of lost out so long. So that's sort of the background to today's reading from Nehemiah, which would have been like about between the year 300 and 400 BC. And Nehemiah and Ezra, as they are calling the people back into their old ways. And the Feast of the Tabernacles was an opportunity for them to, in a sense, remember and recreate. And so on the Feast of the Tabernacles, you find that this man, Ezra, stands up, and we're told that from the 5 books of the Bible, the Pentateuch, he reads for several hours the law of the Lord, and at the end of the reading, the people sort of reconsecrate themselves, consecrate themselves to the fact that they're the people of the covenant, and it's a reminder of what happened on Sinai, and the fact that they became God's people on that occasion. And here once again, under Nehemiah and Ezra, they're once again God's people. So it's sort of a nice story of sort of recovery, if you will. And so that's the first reading, and the gospel reading on Sunday is really the story of Jesus. By now, over the last couple of weeks, we've been heard about the baby Jesus, and then last Sunday we had his baptism, and today we find that Jesus arrives home in his native place in Capharnaum. He arrives in the synagogue in Capharnaum for the first time, probably the first time in quite a while, and so he sits down. Everybody sits down, and he's handed synagogue is sort of a small room, sort of like our chapel, if you will, and so in that context. Jesus is asked to read the reading. Okay, he's given the opportunity of reading the reading on that particular Sunday, of course, and on that particular Saturday, because of course Saturday was the Sabbath. And this is what he read. He says, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to bring glad tidings to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim liberty to captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to let the oppressed go free, and to proclaim a year acceptable to the Lord." So in essence, what he's doing, he's asked to do a reading, and in essence, what he's doing is quoting the prophet Isaiah, and it's really a social justice message, if you will, where the poor, the captives, etc., will be taken care of. And having read that reading, he says, today he says, this reading is fulfilled in your midst. In other words, I'm here to ensure that what Isaiah prophesied so long ago will be fulfilled in me. And unfortunately, the people who were there were told, first of all, that they were captivated by his eloquence, I suppose, number one. But number two, were they excited about what he said? Well, that's another story, and it's a story that'll be dealt with next weekend. So thank you, and have a good day.